Oh, what's going on, YouTube? This is Ven, and I welcome you to the M.O.C Spotlight, where we take apart what you build. For today's episode, we will be going over Hydro, created by Syoya, and it can be found on Flickr. This M.O.C was entered in the Battle for the Golden Mask contest not too long ago, in which builders must create a potential BIONICLE villain. Now before we get started, let me tell you about my method of reviewing, which involves a point system that is based on 3 fundamental attributes: the overall appearance of the M.O.C, the build of the M.O.C itself, and the concepts and ideas behind the M.O.C's creation. Each quality will mount up to 5 points each, for a total score that will be determined at the end of the episode. And of course, let's not forget, this is all my opinion, so feel free to form your own. I'm not going to chastise you for it. Alright, let's get this going. So, right off the bat, I can say that this is a very interesting creation, very unique in appearance. Can't say I've seen anything like this outside of Pacific Rim, maybe, but for what it is, I can easily say this looks really good. It's got a solid characterized design with a consistent color scheme of blue and little hints of white here and there. I'm really impressed with how well the blue looks here. I think Syoya, or whatever, did a pretty good job working with this color. One of the main features that I noticed is that he used this Dragon Bolt head piece as the head of this creature, except not in the way that you would think. He doesn't use it as a dragon head, instead he uses it to make the shape of his own custom head. I really like that he used the Gadunka skull piece over here in the shoulders. I feel like it's a nice choice for aesthetic. It really complements the vibrant blue color scheme he has going here as well. And this detail here with all the tubing looks a bit interesting. I appreciate the fact that it adds a bit of complexity to what looks already not simple or basic, but polished. It's the only portion of this M.O.C that I can say looks a bit busy. And with that said, it's a nice looking contrast. And push all that aside, everything on this M.O.C appears to flow all together quite nicely. Overall, there's not much I can personally complain about, but I will point out some things that some people might have problems with. And there's the fact that this creature doesn't have eyes. Some people might not like that it doesn't have eyes. Some people want to be looked at straight in the eye by their creations. Some people might not appreciate these pins sticking on the upper legs. I presume that these are there for aesthetic reasons, you know, because black is actually part of the color scheme. Some people might not like the tubing. I will say though, there is one thing I'm gonna have to nitpick at, and it's that underneath the Gadunka skulls, there isn't really all that much. The dude did a pretty good job filling these out from behind, but they aren't completely filled out. There's still an itty bit of gappiness. But again, all these things aside, this M.O.C has a fairly solid appearance overall, and I want to go ahead and just move on to the build. So from what I can tell, the build of this M.O.C is fairly complex, and it looks like the simplest construction is within the arms. I gotta say, the dude did a really good job in engineering this M.O.C to look the way it does. Made pretty good usage of all these small parts in like the legs and the upper torso, creating these peculiar shapes. Freaking fantastic. What is peculiar though is that somehow these tiny lower legs manage to support all of this bulk, especially in the thighs and of course the upper body with that big head and those big shoulders and those big arms, or big-ish arms. While it looks fine in terms of aesthetic, it adds to that unique appearance it has. I'm not so sure how to feel about it from the perspective of looking for stability. It seems as though this M.O.C could probably topple over if you like flicked it and then, you know, it would just fall. It looks like it could stand up fairly well. I mean, he got it to stand for all these photos, but it looks like posability in the legs would be rather limited. Like if you tried to pose it and it wasn't in this obviously stable position, I doubt it'd be able to stand up for more than 2 seconds like some sort of obese slob, like M.O.C, for example. It also seems that this M.O.C lacks articulation in the shoulders, which of course limits posability. This thing will be shrugging for the rest of its life. And that's all I can really note on when it comes to the build, so let's go ahead and start talking about the concepts and ideas behind this MOC. So, I don't really know all too much about this MOC, to be fairly honest. Haven't been able to find that much information aside from the fact that it's supposed to be a potential villain for BIONICLE as per the terms of the Battle for the Golden Mask contest. And I also know that the head of this thing is apparently based on a villain from Kamen Rider. Did I say that right? Kamen Rider? Anyway, I can definitely see the influence in the mouth area. That kind of looks a lot like it. He obviously wasn't trying to capture the shape at all. Looks like he was going more for the detail around that part. I think it goes without saying that whatever overall design he was going for in the creation of this MOC, I feel like he nailed it. It's a really unique looking character, and I haven't seen too many other entries to the contest like this. I do get a Pacific Rim kind of vibe from this. It looks like a creature that would probably live underwater. It looks ready to just pop out of the ocean and attack a bunch of Japanese people for no reason. Now, as for the purpose of looking like a potential BIONICLE villain, this is going to be tough for myself to judge, because I feel like for this MOC and many other MOCs that were entered in the contest, that would be rather subjective. Like, you know, I could probably say, hey, this kind of looks like a BIONICLE villain, and then there's going to be people that agree with me, and then there's going to be people that, of course, disagree with me. I could say, hey, it's for horses. This MOC looks like it really could be a part of BIONICLE. And then there's going to be people that say, hey, it's for horses. This MOC doesn't look like anything that would appear in BIONICLE. And I know for a fact that there will be people that say that, because this MOC doesn't really resemble anything that has appeared in BIONICLE before. Unlike Akutan, which obviously was based on a Makuta, the Makuta, I actually think that this MOC could qualify for a potential BIONICLE villain. If not a villain, at least some sort of character. And it looks like something that would probably challenge the Toa, maybe like on the side, not a really main story villain. So now anyway, enough of that talk. Let's just move on to the final scores and get this video over with. I'm tired. That diarrhea of the mouth really just takes energy, like some sort of vacuum cleaner. And so, in terms of appearance, this MOC receives a 4.5 out of 5. Really looks good overall, just a few kinks here and there. I really enjoy this appearance overall, but it does have some small imperfections. The build of this MOC receives 4 out of 5. While it does have a pretty good looking build, there are limitations in articulation that I feel are a bit problematic. And it looks like this MOC could probably topple over a good couple of times because of those tiny legs. Or tiny feet, really. Then, the concept and ideas behind this MOC receive a score of 4.5 out of 5. I think the builder's ideas were executed really well. It looks like a really good MOC, and to me it does look like it could be a BIONICLE villain. Really the only thing that holds this back from being a perfect score are the small flaws that I pointed out earlier. And all this adds up for a final score of, let's see, carry the 13 out of 15. I really enjoy how this MOC turned out. And if I had to guess why I didn't get too far in the contest, it would probably be because of what I stated earlier. That looks more like a side villain rather than a main story villain. And I'm sure that the judges were probably looking for the latter more so than the former. But good job overall, syoya. And thank you all for watching. I need to go take a nap to recover from an overnight Minecraft session. See ya.